In my videos, I usually share with you practical step-by-step tutorials, but today I wanted to do something a little bit different and share with you some important lessons that I've learned in the 4+ years that I've been a content creator. If you're new around these parts, my name is Corey and I'm a writer and content creator. It's my mission to share with you everything I know about how to make money online with your writing, and it occurred to me recently that sharing everything I know extends beyond SEO tools and Jasper and freelance writing tips. It's also about everything else that it takes to start and run an online business. Now, I am far from the end of my journey as an online business owner. In fact, I think it's fair to say that an entrepreneur's journey is never over. No matter where we're at, we're always striving for growth, which I think is a beautiful thing. But I've also come a really long way from when I started back in 2018, and I wouldn't be where I am today if I hadn't learned some of these important lessons, or I guess you could call them philosophies, about how to be successful in the online marketplace, whether that's as a writer or a YouTuber or really any kind of content creator. So I've been really thinking about these things lately, and I wanted to share them with you in the hopes that you would find them encouraging in your own entrepreneurial journey. And I already know that this video isn't going to be as popular as my Jasper tutorials and SEO tips, but I really believe this stuff is important, so I hope you stick around to hear about these 4 particular philosophies that helped me go from $0 to a respectable 5-figure income as a content creator. Number 1, tenacity is your superpower. If there is one thing it takes to succeed as a writer or any kind of content creator, it is perseverance. And I'm by no means saying that skill and talent are not important. They most certainly are. But from what I've observed over the years, the only thing that really separates successful writers and content creators from the unsuccessful ones is having this almost stubborn commitment to succeeding. And sometimes I think that people don't really realize how long a process becoming a successful content creator really is. Because a lot of our favorite 6- and 7-figure money-making gurus have these awesome stories about how they rose to success super quickly, and that's how we think it's supposed to be. But these overnight success stories are usually not actually overnight successes. And yes, there are some content creators out there that were super successful super early, but they are the exception and not the rule. Most of us have a much longer, slower journey to success. For example, I've had an online business for more than 4 years, really closer to 6, but I only started taking it seriously in 2018. And I can't tell you how many times I failed, how many times I felt discouraged, and how often I felt like I was never going to make any headway. For a long time, all my freelancing gigs put together was making about $100 a month. I blogged my butt off for an entire year before I even made $1. And it was almost 2 years before I was making more than $100 a month. I've launched digital products that flopped. I've had Google algorithm changes wipe out all my traffic. I've had Pinterest algorithm changes wipe out my traffic. I've encountered obstacle after obstacle after obstacle. And honestly, it was only in the last 12 to 13 months that everything started coming together and finally aligning. So although the don't give up trope is really corny sounding, it is so true. Anytime you're struggling, choose to embrace that as part of the journey, because each struggle, each failure is a lesson in what you can do differently next time. And it becomes a stepping stone on your path to success. My second philosophy is to diversify like your career depends on it, because it does. I've talked about diversification before in a past video, and I talk about how as a content creator, you should never put all your eggs in one basket for the long term, because the world of online business can be very fickle. It's just like investing, right? A pro investor would never tell you to put all your money into a single stock, no matter how well it's doing, because clients can drop you. Medium can wrongfully ban you from the platform. Google can arbitrarily decide not to rank your website anymore. And you don't really have any control over these external elements that pay your bills every month. And I've had things like this happen to me in the past, and it's discouraging at best and devastating at worst. So in that video, I talk about a few different ways to diversify your income as a writer, like blogging, freelancing, affiliate marketing, and writing on Medium. But I also want you to think beyond the role of a writer, because as your business grows, so do you. And there may come a time when you might want to consider becoming more than a writer. Because for myself, I let this notion that I was a writer kind of box me in for a really long time. And it kept me from pursuing these other opportunities. And I finally, about 8 months ago, created this YouTube channel, and I consider myself to be more of a content creator. Now, just to be clear, I'm not saying that you need to take on a million projects at once and try to do all the things. My recommendation is to focus on one thing at a time, and as soon as you get that thing working for you, then you can look at adding something else and stack up all these different revenue streams over time. And the good news here is you'll find that with content creation, a lot of these platforms and methods of making money flow together really well. So for example, publishing on Medium is a great place to host your samples as a freelance writer. And it's also a great place to syndicate your articles that you published on your blog. And you can promote your affiliate products on your blog as well as on Medium. My third philosophy is that there comes a time when if it's not a heck yes, it's a no. You may have heard this slightly paraphrased motto before, which is a decision-making philosophy that came from entrepreneur Derek Sivers. And the principle behind it is that you only want to accept new opportunities if it's something that you're really excited to do. Now, to be honest with you, I don't really like this philosophy for most situations because life is all about compromise. And as far as business goes, there's going to be a lot of things that you need to do that aren't a heck yes if you're going to get your business off the ground. And when I first started my online business, I said yes to everything. I was so hungry for opportunities that I would accept assignments for low pay. I took on writing projects that I wasn't super excited about and said yes to things that weren't really in my niche because I didn't want to miss out on any opportunities. Now, at the time, this was not a bad thing. It gave me a lot of experience and that first bit of income to build the foundation of my business on. But as time went on, my business grew and I grew, and I became more clear on what I wanted my business to look like. But I was still saying yes to every opportunity because I wanted to do it all, but ultimately it almost burnt me out. And at the end of the day, you're only one person. So there comes a point where you have to ask yourself, is this what I really want to be doing? So I feel like this may sound obvious for some people, but when you're building a business, there's no one to tell you which path to take, which jobs to accept. And sometimes it's not immediately clear what opportunities you should be pursuing to grow your business. And to this day, I still have a hard time saying no to potential clients or new opportunities. And I still kind of hold on to this belief that I'm able to do more than I actually can. But then I remember how much I struggled when I had taken on too much. So when an opportunity comes along, I force myself to ask the question, does this project or client or whatever the opportunity is align with what I want for my business? And if it isn't a heck yes, it's a no. My fourth philosophy is to do the scary thing. In so many ways, I feel like this is the most important philosophy of all. And it's kind of a counterbalance to that whole, if it isn't a heck yes, it's a no. Because you want to make sure that when you say no to something, it isn't because you're consciously or subconsciously afraid to do it. The thing is, whatever it is that you're wanting to do in your business, whether that's to launch a freelance business, write a book, start a blog, whatever it is, there's always going to be this little annoying voice in your head that tells you you can't do it. You might think you're not good enough or that you don't have anything valuable to say, or you may be afraid of other people judging you. And I have had that fearful voice hold me back so many times. I would have started writing years ago, but I was so afraid to publish my work online for the whole world to see. And I still get these fears from time to time. More recently, it was a fear of starting a YouTube channel and talking in front of this camera. But every time I have put myself out there and forced myself to do the scary thing, it has been 100% worth it. And 99.999% of the time, that scary thing was actually not scary at all. So if you're thinking of saying no to something, whether that's a new opportunity or this new business idea you had, I want you to challenge yourself and question why you're hesitating. And if the only thing that's holding you back is because it's something you haven't done before and it's pushing you out of your comfort zone, then that's usually a pretty good sign that you should do it. At the end of the day, you're the only one who knows what's best for you and your business. So weigh everything objectively and see if it aligns with your goals. And if it does, then put yourself out there and do it. So that's your pep talk for the day. Those are my 4 little philosophies about running an online business that I credit with getting me to where I am today. I hope that this was helpful and that it encouraged you to stay the course or take that next step in your business. If you have any questions or maybe some lessons or philosophies of your own to share, leave them in the comments below. In the meantime, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.